Anything else?
Yes, we were runner-up for Best Pre-Owned Dealer and Best Tire Dealer. A lot of people don't understand that we do sell tires here.
Very exciting, Andy. Why do you think your dealership is winning so many awards?
Charlie, we simply say it's the Honda of Lincoln way of doing business.
Looks like Honda of Lincoln is the great news headquarters for Lincoln.
Yes, and even all of Nebraska, we are also announcing that Honda of Lincoln's the only dealer in the state of Nebraska to win the prestigious Honda President's Award for 2024.
Honda of Lincoln, Nebraska's #1 volume Honda dealer, 27th and Yankee Hill Road, or online at hondaoflincoln.com.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback, out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. All right. You know what it is. 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time. Grab your lunch. Come join us. You're getting Husker sports, college football, and sports in general. Producer Jake and I are going to have a whole lot of fun of the process, giving you unique insight and unbridled honesty. Today's show, Dylan Rhule flat out said, let me get the exact quote here. And I quote, "There's really no excuse for us not playing at a high level." End quote. Again, that's Dylan Rhule. Also, some early bowl projections coming out. Have you seen any of these, Jake?
I have not.
Do you have any guess as to, and I can't even tell what the bowl game is. The symbol is, oh, now I can read it. You have any guess as to who the opponent is? The one that I'm caught my eye and I'm particularly looking at right now. You just have a guess. Take 3 guesses.
Texas A&M.
Oh, wow. You went right out the gate. What's next, UCF? Dude.
Yeah, there you go.
Dude. Okay. Join me in my utopian WWE world real quick, okay? We make the playoffs. First round, it's A&M. Round 2, it's UCF. I mean, let's just light them up and knock them down. Round 3, oh my God, this means Colorado would have won 2 playoff games. But Colorado, then we play Oklahoma for the national championship. Or Texas. Do we beat Texas for the title?
Yeah.
Who would you rather beat?
I'd rather beat Texas.
Let's beat Texas for the title. Oh, man, that would be phenomenal. That would be awesome. By the way, it's not UCF. It's not A&M. It's not Texas. But we will get into some of the early bowl projections. I will tell you right now, it caught my eye. Who they have us projected to play caught my eye. All right. Hour 1 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by Hamilton Telecommunications, bringing you the latest in quality technology and communication services since 1901, 124 years strong. Learn more about their residential and business services at hamiltontel.com. That's Hamilton, TEL.com. All right, Jake. We haven't talked much about Houston Christian, and we'll get into everything else that I chatted about a minute ago as this show goes along. And then Matt Rhule's going to have his Thursday press conference. We'll react to that as well. And honestly, I didn't get a chance to react to what Dana Holgorsen had to say the other day, more of what Dylan Rhule had to say the other day. Although we did react actually briefly to Holgorsen, but we might dive into it just a little bit more. A couple of interesting quotes in general from press conferences over the past few days. Briefly, Houston Christian, 68-0. What's your score prediction? Just do it right now. What's your score prediction? Is it 68-0 like Akron? Is it 69? Is it 81? Is it 100? Is it 50? Is it 2-0?
Yeah, maybe 50. Let's go 59-3.
59-3. I'll give it away. I said 56-7 the other day. I'm going to stick with that. Getting another shutout, getting 2 in a row is just hard. Poor Akron. Wow.
Getting shut out twice is hard. Is that hard to do?
Wow. That's harsh. But getting 2 in a row would be hard. I'm almost tempted to go with the field goal. Something tells me, though, Houston Christian, if they're on like the 1 yard line and it's 4th and goal, they're just going to go for it. They don't strike me as the team that's going to kick that field goal. And they like to run the ball. That is what they like to do. They want to shorten the game. So we probably won't have as many offensive plays, won't have the ball as many times for as many possessions. They are, I think I mentioned this the other day, I can't remember. But I've been told if they were to play Akron, they would have been a 13-point underdog. Like Akron would be a 13-point favorite. You could argue like the worst player on Nebraska's roster could be amongst the best, if not the best player on their roster. So there's obviously a mismatch here. But I said 56-7. That's still us scoring 2 touchdowns every quarter. They get a lucky touchdown along the way. They're going to shorten the game. They like to run the ball a little bit. So for me, that's kind of how I look at the Houston Christian game. Beyond that, like what's the minimum of what Nebraska has to do for you to feel good after the game? Which for me, feeling good isn't just we beat them the way we should. That's part of it. It's part one. But did we get better in certain areas? Red zone scoring and efficiency, stopping the run, getting after the quarterback, and kickoff returns. Those are 4 things that kind of come out right off the top of my head. I have no notes. I have a ton, but none of those are in my notes. Did we get better at those 4 things? I would start number 1 with stopping the run against Houston Christian. We've had 6 guys through 2 games so far this year average 5 yards per carry or more. And that includes Akron starting running back. Excuse me. And then we've had 3 guys, all in the Cincinnati game, who averaged 8.5 yards per carry or more. So for me, that's number 1. Like that's number 1, and then it's 1A, and it's 1B, and it's 1C, and then 2 would be red zone efficiency, 3 would be getting after the quarterback, 4 would be kickoff returns. What about you, Jake?
Yeah, I just want to come out of this game and think this is a well-coached team. And I think that's been from the beginning, so you kind of look at turnovers, penalties, that sort of stuff. I think that's been pretty good. And obviously was really good in the first game. They did have a turnover this past game, but 1 through 2 games I think is forgivable. I mean, that's on pace for what you would want. So that would be right up there. But I agree with you. I still think the biggest thing is rushing defense. I think that's still the biggest question right now for the Nebraska football team. And then there's the obvious other ones. Just don't. I'd rather not have this be a game that you could pull the guys at halftime if you need to. All that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think turnovers, penalties, and rush defense.
So last game, just to kind of put a button on the Akron game here. All right, Dylan obviously didn't even finish the 3rd quarter, let alone play the 4th quarter. He had a career high 364 pass yards. Now our first 5 red zone attempts, because I will say maybe it's a 1-2 and then there's a little bit of a gap between 3 and 4. We've got to be more efficient in the red zone. We've been inside the opponent's 10-yard line in the past couple of games 3 times and walked away with 3 points on those particular 3 possessions, from the false start versus Cincy, the fumble with Emmett, who played great, number 7 leading rusher in the entire country, and then the tush push where we were stuffed at the 1. We came away with the field goal where we had the false start against Cincinnati. That's anywhere from 3 to 21 points that you could walk away with, and we walked away with, I guess, technically 0, but we walked away with 3. You can't do that when you're entering Big Ten play. When USC's dropping 73 and scoring points like it's a basketball game, you got Michigan coming into town. Those are things you want to improve on. Our first 5 red zone trips. Last game, we had 2 touchdowns, so there was some good here. A field goal, a fumble, and we turned it over on downs. So you want a much higher batting average than that, scoring 3 out of 5 times and scoring 2 out of 5 times with a touchdown. So you want a higher batting average than that. Okay. What are your thoughts on the red zone, getting close to the goal line? Cam Lenhart is clearly the new Ty Robinson. They bring him in at fullback. The tush push didn't look great. Harburg has ran it a couple times, albeit one was, more, actually 2 of them were quarterback sneaks. Haven't seen a ton there. What are your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I'm still interested to see, because I think ideally that's a good kind of package to throw out there. Is it going to work is kind of the other thing. So we'll see. Obviously, mixed results so far. Red zone offense is important, but I don't mind. They even despite that stat against Cincinnati, remember they went for it on 4th down in the red zone. I don't mind that as much either. We saw it too in this game. One of the times they did not convert in the red zone, they got a safety out of it. So it does give the defense a long field to work with and an opportunity to get points of their own at times. So I guess, I do think that those stats are important, but I don't want it to stop you from saying, hey, well, let's at least get 3 here when you need 7, right? So, that can kind of fit into, different game stats aren't everything, but it does need to be improved. And they do need to be able to get, the whole idea behind let's get 1 more yard against Akron is you should be able to do that against anybody, but it's got to be done against Akron. And so with that not working yet, I'm very close to interested to see kind of how that plays out, because that Harburg package, again, theoretically makes a lot of sense. But would you maybe be better off, spreading it out and give it to Emmett, or loading it up and give it to Emmett, or, kind of other various means of getting that first down?
I do think with the Harburg package, they probably have, I guarantee there's a lot of things they haven't shown yet, and nor should they. We're going to save them for Michigan and a much improved Michigan State team and Big Ten slate coming up. So I guarantee we haven't seen everything. When Harburg comes in, there does have to be a bit of a threat of the pass. Like, I guarantee he hasn't thrown a football anywhere near as much recently as he did in previous years, but he still has the capability. Like, I was a high school quarterback. Did you see me play quarterback at the Turkey Bowl?
A little bit.
This is backyard flag football, ladies and gentlemen. Let's take this with a grain of salt. But I'll tell you right now, I still feel like to this day, I can walk up, barring a D1 quarterback being in the huddle, and feel like I'm probably the best option to throw the rock here. And I haven't thrown a football since I was 17 when I was a senior consistently at all. So there's got to be a little bit of a threat of passing the ball when Harburg comes in, so it's not so obvious. Kind of like last year, he would come in, trick play. They're doing some sort of, it was too obvious. You know what I mean? I did make this note that I haven't mentioned yet. At one point, I wrote down during the game 3 one-handed catches so far in the first half. So that's impressive. I guarantee Dylan loves that. Somebody asked me in a comment on social media about Dylan and how many rushing touchdowns he's had since he got here at Nebraska. I didn't really respond because honestly, I didn't care. It's not his thing. He doesn't need to run more unless it's there. And when it's been there, he's been decisive. That's all I care about. He kept it on a read option one time. Love that. The 360 spin at the end was not a thing of beauty, but I love the attempt and the effort. That's all I ask.
How about the little pose afterwards?
Well, that was what it was. I love and I respect the effort. That's all I can ask. Okay. But he actually does not have a rushing touchdown because another guy responded, which brought it up in my timeline again. I was like, all right, I'm going to go look this up. He actually does not have a rushing touchdown yet since he got here at Nebraska. Again, that's not a big deal to me. I'm not uber interested in that. Just kind of interesting facts that you go back and you look through and you analyze the game again. You look forward to Houston Christian again. Okay, so again, some final thoughts on Akron, which is weird because we're Thursday after the Akron game. But let's be real. When you're looking forward to Houston Christian and you just won 68-0, there's a few things to look back at. All right, Nebraska going back to first half defense held, as we know, Akron scoreless. All right, the Huskers have allowed no touchdowns and a total of 5 combined points in their last 4 games dating back to last season. 2 points versus Boston College, 3 versus Cincinnati. All right, in their previous 4 games combined in the first half. Iowa didn't do much till the second half. You think back to that Iowa game, too. Wisconsin didn't do much. So if you go back to 5 games, I wonder what that would look like as well. All right. Let's see. Rhule threw for this is first half kind of analysis here. Threw for 3 touchdowns in the first half, tying his career high. Obviously ended up with a career high, a game high, career high. Most total touchdowns he's ever had in one game versus Akron. Most passing yards he's ever had in one game versus Akron as well. All right. Now, Emmett Johnson had his longest touchdown of his run of his career, 47 yards. His previous long was 42 yards versus UTEP. We had a lot of things in this game that hadn't happened along with the blocked field goal since UTEP. Too long. But again, getting some of these monkeys off our back here. All right, with back-to-back 100-yard rushing games to start the season, Emmett Johnson is the first Husker with consecutive 100-yard rushing games. I'm staring at it, so I know the answer. Since who, Jake? Do you have a guess?
I'd guess Anthony Grant.
Oh, you nailed it.
Nice.
Have you seen this before?
No, he got close to 1,000 yards.
Right.
I would assume he put together a few of them.
You're muy intelligente, my friend. All right. Since Anthony Grant had 3 straight to open the 2022 season. All right. This has been talked about. Sophomore receiver Ja'Cory Barney had 3 punt returns. This was in the first half of 48 yards. He ended up with 80. I think it was 87 in the game, which is more punt return yardage than we had all last year combined. All right. And the 23-yard return was, including a 23-yard return in the first quarter, The 23-yard return was Nebraska's longest since blank had a 27-yard punt return at Purdue in 2020. That's half a decade. Who was blank?
2020.
2020.
Wandale?
No, but this is I'm in
Spielman?
No, but I'll give you another one because this is like I'm just throwing this at you without any prep time. I'll give you one more. Defensive guy. One more guess.
Okay. Cam Taylor-Britt?
Nailed it. Like, I'm glad that these things are happening. It's just astonishing to me that some of these things haven't happened in a while. But I keep pointing out, all right, you got to get these monkeys off your back. Whether it be beating Wisconsin for the first time in 12 years, going to a bowl game, winning a bowl game, having a winning record, the punt return yardage, the consecutive 100-yard rushing games, all this stuff. Getting these monkeys off your back, it matters. It matters. It's part of the mental side of things. It's much easier to do something a second time. It's easier a third time and a fourth time exponentially than it is to do something for a first time. And sometimes when you've done something, but you haven't done it in a long time, it can almost be harder than if you've never done it before to try to do it again, because it can almost be frustrating. All right. Let's see. Nebraska's victory improved the Huskers to 2-0 all-time versus Akron. Should be 3-0, but, lightning storms. And 9-1 all-time against current members of the MAC.
Now, hold on. That team started 0-6. I don't know if you're going to assume the Akron win that year.
Whoa. Are you saying we wouldn't have beat Akron that year?
I would say, given the Scott Frost era, I wouldn't guarantee anything.
Was that 2018?
Yeah.
I'm looking up Akron football schedule.
Yeah, look up
2018. What was their record? Well, especially when they started the year. They were 4-8 overall.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, this is Nebraska canceled. All right, Morgan State. Beat Morgan State. Oh, they beat Northwestern 39-34. Eesh. Played Iowa State close. Lost by 13-26. Oh, then they got mollywopped by 24 to Miami of Ohio. All right, Buffalo beat them by 18. Kent State beat them by 1 point in overtime. All right, Jake, let's settle the debate that's 7 years in the making. Would Nebraska have beaten Akron? Would that have changed everything about the Scott Frost era, and would he still be here? Or would we have just beaten Akron? Do you think we would have won?
I mean, obviously you would still think they're favored. But again, you go back, it's not just that team. The 2021 team had a lot of games they should have won that didn't win. I mean, that's the best 3-9 team of all time, right? So there's nothing guaranteed.
Great. I remember that. We're the greatest 3-9 team of all time.
We might have been. We were pretty competitive with everybody.
Honestly, we might have been. Did you say whether you thought Nebraska would have won or not, or did you dodge the question?
I think they would have. I don't know, man. I think they would have won. I'll give it to them. Yeah, they would have won.
Dude. This is not the rabbit hole I planned on going down this first segment, but here we are. All right. Texters. What's the number, Jake?
402-464-5685.
Two-part question. Answer either part or both, whatever you please. Does Nebraska beat Akron if we play them in 2018? That's part one. Part two, how much does that change the trajectory of Nebraska football if we beat Akron? Now, if we lose to Akron, just don't answer. Just don't answer part B if you have us losing to Akron, because we know the answer. It probably just would have happened sooner. But if we win, if you have us winning, how does that change the trajectory of Nebraska football? Jake, you've already answered part one. I have us beating Akron. I think it's not ass of 7, Jake. It's not ass of 8. It's ass of 9 to say that we would have lost to Akron.
I don't know about that.
Remember, we almost beat Colorado. We outplayed them significantly just a week later without that infamous first game under our belt. So we didn't have the week 1 to week 2 improvement, and they did.
Week 3, we lost to Troy. Troy was 10-3 that year.
Yeah, come on, man.
Neil Brown's been living off that victory ever since.
Come on, man. Troy was 10-3. Akron was 4-8.
Yeah.
Nebraska beats Akron. I'm going to stand here and almost definitively declare that.
Well, if they do, then of course they wouldn't have played Bethune-Cookman, so they still would have been 4-8.
Wow. Dude, you and your daggers, man. Bad news, Bach.
It's not my. We all know 2018. We all know the whole Frost thing. It's not my fault.
You're the one pointing it out, though. All right. Have we gotten any text yet? Does anybody think we would have lost to Akron?
Scott says no. We would have won. Would have had the same record that season, like you said, with Bethune-Cookman there.
Yeah, probably.
1922 said we would have won and maybe made a difference in the season.
Let me ask you a question. Okay. So just to swap out Bethune-Cookman for Akron, if we're saying, again, if you have us losing to Akron, just say we lost and just stop there. I don't want to know what you think would have happened had we lost to Akron. Let's say we beat Akron. Do you think we beat Colorado? Because again, let me point out, they had a 4th and 20. And if we stop them, the game's over. We have the lead. There's like under 2 minutes left in the game. We stop them, but there's a personal foul call. I forget what it was.
Oh, yeah.
PI or whatever
it was. A late
it was.
hit, I think, with Antonio Reed.
And gave them the first down. They score, they win. Do you think, not just take away winning versus Akron, having a game under our belt, you don't think that's worth at least a touchdown? Because the biggest improvements are week 1 to week 2. Everybody will universally tell you that. So we're a better football team versus Colorado rather than that's our first game. Remember, we don't have preseason games in college. We're not quite the NFL yet. Also, we have the momentum of actually winning. Do you think we beat Colorado? And that's where I'm curious what the ricochet effect would have been. We beat Akron. Let's say we beat Colorado, because playing one game ahead of your first game, so now your first game becomes your second game, is worth at least a touchdown. How does that affect the rest of the season? How does that? You are smirking and I don't like it. What are you looking at on that screen?
You just sound like Scott Frost right now. Scott Frost finds any way to blame anything on anybody else.
Well, that's not what I'm doing.
Well, yeah, but I know you're trying to find a way to get more wins on this Scott Frost here. I'm telling you, I'm done with that. I saw Nebraska lose every which way, I felt like, under the Scott Frost era.
I'm not looking for anything. I wish Scott Frost all the best, and that's all I got to say about that. I'm just going back and being like, things have a ricochet effect. It's kind of like you bring someone who's hardworking and enthusiastic into a locker room. That's going to have a ricochet effect in your locker room. You will be a better team for it. You will have more wins. Same thing if you bring a cancer via a bad personality that has a ricochet effect in your locker room. You can't tell me Florida State should have been 2-10 last year. That team gave up and quit, and that started with the leaders on that team. So I'm not looking for anything. Again, I didn't plan this rabbit hole. I'm still staring at the notes that I was supposed to talk about 10 minutes ago. What other things are we getting off the text line?
0778 said Nebraska would have won, but it probably would have been ugly. Scott still gets fired. Scott in Minnesota says didn't improve after first game. Bad loss at home to a bad Colorado team.
I think he means Troy.
Yeah.
Not a bad Troy team, 10-3, but a lower level Troy team.
Yeah.
So that's a fair point. But again, we would have had, if we have the momentum of beating Akron and then we beat Colorado, you don't think that has a ricochet effect versus Troy?
It could have.
Was our quarterback out versus Troy?
It was. Yeah, he was. Adrian.
Well, he could have just as easily still been out. All right, back to this. You know, we got to go to break. Is there anything off the text line before we move on from this topic and this rabbit hole? We're going to climb out of the rabbit hole in segment 2. But before we do, is there anything else we should discuss in segment 1? We'll take a break and we'll get back on track.
There was a few thoughts like Scooter from Roca said we don't have the offensive line to run the tush push. Nick and McCook says our tush push is not the Eagles' tush push. Ours is more tush, less push.
Oh, I've never heard that. That's a good one, honestly.
Somebody had a pretty good spot. Now I've lost it too, so I'll continue to look for that. I thought they made a good point, but it's gone.
We don't have the offensive line to do the tush push. We're huge.
Yeah.
I mentioned it before the season. It was a projected starting offensive line, which would have included Elijah Pritchett at that point in time because it was preseason. Let me look up something real quick. I want to make sure. So Gunnar Gatula, who I have to imagine was not part of that projection at that point in time, is 305. And Elijah Pritchett is listed at, if it would ever come up here. Stop taking me to Alabama photos. I don't want to see his Alabama photos. Can you find it real quick?
Yeah.
Oh my God, my whole screen just went black.
So he's listed at 325.
So about a 15-pound difference, because I remember somebody texted in, and I verified it, our average starting offensive line weight was like 321. So obviously, maybe that brings it down to 319. So let's say 315, maybe 320 pounds across the board, and we don't have the offensive line to get a foot A foot? Let me bear in mind, in those scenarios, the offensive line and the offense has the advantage because they know the snap count and you don't have to get like 3-4 yards. You're just trying to get a foot, maybe 2/3 of a yard at most. You know the snap count. So you're moving first, and we have to get that guy on the ground who's behind a bunch of behemoths. So we have to get through you to get him, who's not just going to fall down to the ground, and him is Heinrich Harburg, who's not easy to tackle. We don't have the offensive line to do that.
We should.
I'm asking your opinion.
Didn't on that fourth down. Should be able to. You would think so.
All right, we're going to get back on track. Let's take a break.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
Imagine starting your day with a computer glitch that leaves you feeling stuck, frustrated, and unable to get your work done. You have 1,000,001 things to get done today, and waiting for the tech issue to solve itself isn't one of them. It's time to let Hamilton handle the tech so you don't have to. We help businesses across the state spend more time on what they do best and less time frustrated with office technology. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we're focused on providing custom solutions that set you up for success now and in the future. Connect with us today at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's schweisow.com. Comfort food, but make it vegan. At Rutabagas, they're serving all your crave-worthy classics. Mac and cheese, loaded nachos, Philly cheesesteaks, all 100% plant-powered and 100% delicious. Catch them at their cozy spot at 70th and Vine, or find their food truck rolling through the streets of Lincoln. So whether you're vegan, veg curious, or just hungry for comfort food with a twist, Rutabagas has a plate waiting for you. Find them on Instagram for their food truck location and specials. Rutabagas, where comfort meets compassion. When it comes to concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction doesn't stall. They go for the takedown. As Nebraska's full-service concrete contractor, they stay in bounds, hold inside position, and never forfeit quality. Whether it's foundations, flatwork, or concrete coatings, they elevate performance and pin down results that win every time. Stevens & Smith Construction is a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket. Because when it's time to wrestle with concrete, Stevens & Smith Construction slams expectations.
When the clock strikes zero after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, we'll see mainly sunny skies and it will be breezy. See an afternoon high around 87. Tonight, a slight chance of showers and storms. Otherwise, partly cloudy skies, below around 70. And tomorrow, we'll see mainly sunny skies. It'll be breezy and hot with a high around 93. I'm meteorologist Kyle Carriker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Select Plumbing and Utility has been serving Lincoln and the surrounding area for 14 years, and they're not slowing down. Select Plumbing and Utility handles all your plumbing needs, from faucets and water heaters to full renovations, and they can even help with your heating and cooling needs. They're also Lincoln's underground experts, repairing and replacing broken underground water and sewer lines since day one. Contact Select Plumbing and Utility today at 402-560-6197, assuring excellence in every situation, opportunity, and challenge. That's 402-560-6197.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at DoorsPlusLLC.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, Jake. Are we going to get the show back on the rails, or are we going to stay off the rails?
We'll see how it goes.
You got anything off the text line here?
I thought this was a pretty good one from Scott in Minnesota. He asked what you were hoping to see on Saturday. He said he's hoping for a Houston Christian field goal right before halftime. Coach Rhule will go absolutely ballistic.
You know what? It's kind of messed up, but now I want to see that too. That's so messed up. As long as we're up like 42-0, I'll find it okay. And then I'll be awaiting the leaked video afterwards.
That's right.
All right. Now let's officially put a button on accurate. There's just a bunch of random interesting stats, I thought. Pardon me. All right, here we go. His victory marked, let's see, Nebraska's 8th straight win against a non-conference opponent. The 8 straight wins over non-league foes is the longest for Nebraska since winning 12 straight against non-conference opponents from 1999 to 2001. Nebraska has held each of those 8 non-conference opponents to fewer than 20 points during the streak. Nebraska offensively had 494 passing yards, the second highest total in school history, trailing the 519 yards against Kansas State on November 10th, 2007. Is that Joey Gans?
That's Joe Gans.
Dude, why is that guy not talked about more?
Just wish he got more playing time, I think, maybe early on in his career.
Dude, when he was in, go look at his stats. They're phenomenally phenomenal. The problem was it turned into basketball games because we couldn't stop anybody. My last year was 06. We couldn't stop anybody in 07.
Not your fault.
Somebody behind you, the lights went out on her. She's waving her arms trying to get him to come on. They just finally came back on for her. That was entertaining for me. Jake couldn't see a thing. Well, a lot of people confuse me with 07, 08. I'm like, no. My last year was 06. Get it right. Give me credit for things that I deserve credit for, but not anything else. All right. Let's see. 519 yards, Joey Gans against Kansas State on November 10th, 2007. All right. This past Saturday was the 10th 400-yard passing game in program history and the first since 2018 versus Wisconsin. How dare you crap on that 2018 team? Come on, Jake. Nebraska held Akron scoreless in the first half. I kind of alluded to this earlier. All right, but Nebraska has not allowed a first half touchdown and has allowed just 5 combined points in the first half of its past 4 games. All right, Nebraska did not allow a rushing touchdown at home last season, and after Saturday night, the Huskers have not allowed a rushing touchdown in 8 straight home games. Indiana was on the road. Just remember that. The Huskers held Akron to 62 passing yards after limiting Cincinnati to 69 passing yards last week. It marks the first time Nebraska has held back-to-back opponents to fewer than 100 passing yards since the final 2 games of the 2019 season, which was Maryland had 57 passing yards, Iowa 99 passing yards. All right, Dylan Raiola's 4 passing touchdown mark in the first. It's the first time a Husker has thrown for 4 TDs since Riker Fife Shout out to Grand Island, threw for 4 TDs at Purdue in 2015. That was the game we had to come from behind in, wasn't it? Weren't we behind? We had to come back late to win.
I think we lost that game 55-45.
Yeah, I'm thinking of a different game. All right. Can you confirm that?
What year was this?
2015. Look that up real quick. All right. With his 364 passing yards, Rhule increased his career passing total to 3,426 yards, moving him into 10th place on the Nebraska career passing list. All right. And this is a typo, but I'm going to read it as written because it made me laugh when I read it. Ja'Cory Barney had 4 punt returns for 876 yards. I read that. And I was like, wait a minute. That's not right. That's got to be a record. 87 yards. But it says 876 here. All right. Barney's total punt returns, 876 punt return yards in one game. That's got to be a record. Barney's total punt return yards were the most by a Husker since DeMornay Pearsonell had 3 returns for 134 yards at Iowa in 2014. And an amazing punt return for a touchdown. Was it punt return or kickoff return? Do you remember for a touchdown? DeMornay Pearsonell, Iowa 2014.
I would guess a punt return. Against who?
Iowa. That's a safe assumption. Probably a punt. Have you found out the score of that game?
Yeah, that was the 55-45 loss to Purdue. Remember, Darrell Hazel went 3-24 in conference games in his time there. That was one of them.
Dagger.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all good. We like to be factually correct here as much as possible. All right, Ja'Cory Barney had 7 receptions for a career-high 132 yards, giving him 219 all-purpose yards. His 132 receiving yards are the most by a Husker since Trey Palmer. Had 9 catches for 165 yards at Iowa in 2022. I don't think enough people appreciated Trey Palmer. I mean, we were excited. We were a fan of. He put that tweet out in the morning of games. He's all angry or whatever he would say, and that was great. He wasn't here that long, really 2 years, and then had the one breakout year, if I remember correctly. But we haven't had a guy like him since. And what he could do to defense is to take the top off the defense. You want to talk about a ricochet effect. That terrifies defensive coordinators. And it opens up everything underneath, which then also opens up the run game. Then if you try to stop the run game, bang, play action, pass over the top to Trey Palmer, which we saw more than a few times. All right, Nebraska had a 300-yard passer, a 100-yard rusher, that's Dylan Rhule, Emmett Johnson, and a 100-yard receiver, Ja'Cory Barney, in the win. Nebraska's 92 punt return yards in, Saturday's 92. I feel like that thing constantly changes. Because I've seen 87, 876, and now 92. In Saturday night's game, bettered its season punt return total than any of the past 4 seasons. So not just last year, not any of the past 4 seasons. All right, here's a random fun question for you, Jake. How many total Huskers do you think recorded a tackle in the win?
Oof.
And know that it's a large number?
Yeah, let's go with 30.
40.
40.
I was astounded by that.
That's a lot.
That's 4 deep. That's 4 deep right there. All right. Anything off the text line? You got any thoughts real quick, Jake?
Just one question here from 288 that said, do you think playing 2 cupcakes before Michigan will hurt Nebraska?
So Matt Rhule said, I believe it was Monday. I could be wrong. I think it was his Monday press conference that playing Northern Iowa hurt them going into Illinois last year, which I get how that can happen. I think that happening last year will teach them a lesson, and it won't happen again this year. One of the reasons, going back to Cincinnati, one of the reasons I know people were pissed about things. That the separation in the score wasn't enough. It took a last-second play to win the game, which, by the way, we're not known for doing, so I'm glad we figured out how to do it. And the run game, or the stopping the run game, and getting after the quarterback wasn't there, and et cetera, et cetera. I get all that. We're the youngest team in the Big Ten. And I was just like, first game of the year, you never know what's going to happen. I've said it like a million times. So I'm going to say it one last time here. And I won't say it anywhere else or here again. You don't have a preseason. We're the youngest team in the Big Ten. We have a lot of new, 3 new coordinators. They have a lot of new. They are better. And it's not even a question than they were last year. Again, I thought we'd be favored by more. I really thought we'd win by double digits. But at the end of the day, I was like, if we just get the win, that's by far the biggest thing, because then we're going to be 3-0. That sounds a whole lot different than 2-1 and losing to Cincinnati. We're going to be 3-0. And then what happens is you have the opportunity You escape Arrowhead with a win. Whether you're happy about the game or not, the process to getting the win, honestly, there were things to improve on, and we saw that improvement for Akron. I was like, just get the win. But then you have an opportunity to get better and improve, and you really have 3 weeks to do it with 2 games in between Cincinnati and Michigan. I was like, you walk out of Arrowhead with the win. You're now going to be 3-0. You now have a chance to see what you need to get better at. Rhule even flat out said, you don't really see what you need to work on until you see it versus another team. You basically have 3 weeks of practices, 2 games. Some people have called them scrimmages, whatever, to get better. And if you handle that the right way, that almost sets up perfectly heading into Michigan, a home game in Memorial Stadium with a true freshman quarterback who, by the way, had the worst QBR of any FBS quarterback in the country last week. Now, he may win the Heisman one day, but he ain't winning it this year. And without your head coach, who, by the way, can't even be in the building to help you prepare for Nebraska next week. So if they handle it the right way, and maybe what happened last year will help them prepare for this year, we will be better off for it. Or you can get used to playing at a certain level, and then all of a sudden you have to play Michigan, and you're shocked. And I think that's what Rhule was alluding to last year with Illinois, which is why I think he ripped into him like a monkey on a cupcake at halftime, because he was not going to let that happen again. So I am not as concerned this year that that's going to be a negative going into Michigan. What say you, Jake?
Yeah, I mean, I like your kind of breakdown there. I mean, obviously, I think it is going to be a bit of it's not a surprise. They know what was going in, but if getting an adjustment, like you said, when they do step on the field against Michigan to kind of get back into the fighting spirit against a team that's going to be able to punch back a little bit. It'll be their toughest matchup of the year. So, I mean, I could see it. And I said this too. I mean, I think if they knew that they would beat Akron 68-0, they might have put a little bit more difficult game in front of them, in front of, Michigan too. But it is the way it is. You play who's in front of you. And that's what makes this week kind of interesting. You almost kind of have to think through it of like, you're preparing for Michigan. You never want to think through an opponent. Yes. But this is like the one example where it's kind of like, pretty much kind of think through it and prepare for Michigan, play and call the game of Houston Christian like you're getting ready for the Wolverines.
Absolutely. I have absolutely no problem with that, especially where Houston Christian wants to run the ball more. A lot like Michigan. And I don't want to give away, too much for next week. Michigan's wide receivers are the worst position group they have on that entire team, by the way. Just looking ahead to next week a little bit. True freshman quarterback who's out of this world talent-wise, but is not there yet with everything else, thrown to a bunch of guys who are the worst, unequivocally the worst position group on that entire Michigan team is the wide receivers. And dare I say, our pass defense is the best thing we do this year right now, up to this point. So I don't want to get too far ahead, frankly, because we have shows next week. We need to talk about this stuff next week. But just so you know, I've been looking ahead and doing a little recon as well. Nebraska, I don't want to say we should have every advantage going into this because that's misleading. But they don't have their head coach. They have a true freshman quarterback. They're coming off a tough road loss. Now, they do have, it's not like they're coming into Lincoln the very next week, but we should be fresher. We've had weeks to prepare, improve, and get better. Like, we haven't had to focus specifically on an opponent. If we're being truthful and fully honest, we've been able to focus on an opponent and ourselves and get better. When you have to just focus on an opponent and you're just doing what it takes to win that upcoming game, that's different than that and allowing yourself to actually get better. And it's on our home field. Now, we'll see. I predicted us to beat Michigan before the season started. Admittedly, I thought Michigan played pretty good versus Oklahoma. And their defense, special teams, are rock solid as always. They are well coached as always. They run the ball better than I thought they would against Oklahoma. They ran it better than I thought they would versus Oklahoma. In both their games, they've had explosive runs. Their down in, down out yards per carry average isn't going to wow you, but they have yet to be held without multiple explosive rushes in a game, and that includes in Norman, Oklahoma. So we'll get more into that next week. A little bit of a teaser there. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Hey there, this is Paul Scheel, owner of High Electric. I want to thank our friends and loyal customers and introduce High Electric to those looking for a new electrician. We've been serving the Lincoln and Omaha area for over 30 years, from design to install, upgrades, and repair. If you are a homeowner or a small business needing some electrical work, call us at 402-466-6606 or check us out at hyelectric.com. We look forward to hearing from you.
Hungry for something real? Come to HF Crave, Lincoln's favorite spot for burgers that are anything but basic. Locally sourced Nebraska beef, hand-cut fries, and bold flavors that'll make your taste buds cheer. Whether you're craving the classics or ready to try something wild, they've got the burger that gets you. HF Crave. Fresh, local, craveable. Find them at 48th and Holdridge or order online at hfcrave.com.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at lovneb.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today. There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Adam Carriker Show. I may have fibbed. I found the grades from the Akron game, so we're going to go over those really quickly. And you thought it was interesting to actually see the amount of snaps that certain guys played. I've got the offensive grades. Do you have the defensive ones?
Yeah.
Let's fire through this. We'll put a button on the Akron game, and then we'll go to hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. Dylan Raiola talks about no frickin' excuse. I said frickin'. He said no excuse not to play at a high level. Also, early bowl projections for Nebraska. The opponent caught my eye. All right. Dylan Raiola graded out at 85.9. TJ Lateef, 72.7. Jalen Gromstad, 62.2. Dylan played 54 snaps. TJ 14. Jaleb 5. All right. Bodie Sokup played 1 snap, not a particular grade there. Emmett Johnson was actually the 3rd highest graded running back. That's 70.4. I wouldn't read too much into that. Isaiah Mosey was the highest graded at 79.3. Mackay Nelson, 73.1. Quentin Eyes, I was surprised, 65.4. Thought it would be higher. All right, Emmett, 39 snaps. Mackay, 20. Isaiah, 13. Quentin, 8. All right, Connor Booth got 2. Kenneth Williams got 2. Isaac Dickey got 1. Move on to the wide receivers. This was something that did catch my eye. The highest graded wide receivers, Ja'Cory Barney, 84.8. Not a shocker. Number 2, a little bit of separation here. 71.2 was the grade for Quinn Clark. I've told people to keep your eye on him. And then when Janarian Bonner went down, I was like, this is the dude to keep your eye on anyways. All right. The 3rd highest graded wide receiver was Isaiah Hunter, 70.6. And then Dane Key, take it for what it's worth, was 61.5. Does that surprise you at all?
It does a little bit. What was his snap count?
Oh, yes. Isaiah played 47, Dane Key 45, Ja'Cory Barney 30, Quinn Clark 16 snaps. So you got to factor that in too.
Yeah. That's I mean, they clearly trust him.
Clearly. All right. Keelan Smith, Cortez Mills. None of these, they both had 58.8, 58.1. A bunch of other guys got a bunch of snaps, but not a lot of grades there. All right, tight ends. Luke Lindenmeyer, 88.6 with 50 snaps. That's the highest grade we've seen so far. Rhule has said he is going to be where he is supposed to be all the time. Shows in the grade. Heinrich Harburg, 67.3, played 23 total snaps. Carter Nelson, 14 snaps, 64.3. And I know Rhule, I thought about this a little bit. I know Rhule said it's Carter Nelson's time. He missed all spring. He still has never played a full season of 11-man football with the injury, so 8-man. The hip, double hip surgery, that's tough to come back from. I'm not saying he can't make an impact this year. It may be a situation where Lindemeyer's back next year. Carter Nelson learns from Harburg this year, who won't be back next year, and then maybe it's next year. I hope he breaks out this year. But just think a little bit more what's feasible. I like to say that word because it makes me sound smart. What's feasible, it may be a year in the making. All right, Teddy Prohaska. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rocco Spindler, Henry Tufsky, Justin Evans, Teddy Prohaska all had 54 snaps exactly. Then Gunnar Gatula with 38. Then Turner Corcoran with 23. Elijah Pritchett with 14. So clearly Gunnar is the starter, but he also had way less snaps than the other 4 starters. So I don't know what that means. But Turner Corcoran, 23. Elijah Pritchett, 14. Gunnar Gatula, 38. The other 4 starting offensive linemen, 54 snaps. The grades were all pretty similar. Prohaska, 66.4. Justin Evans, 64.8. Henry Latufsky, 62.6. Rocco Spindler, 60.9. Gunnar Gatula, the highest of all the starters, with a 69.7 grade. Turner Corcoran, then 74.9, the highest graded offensive lineman. Elijah Pritchett, 69.9. Less snaps, but a higher grade, so to speak, than Gunnar, who's the clear-cut starter, and Elijah's clearly the third string here. As an overall whole, are you surprised the offensive line grades? Now, one guy was in the 70s. Does that surprise you? The lowest graded group as a whole.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, again, there's sometimes you just kind of take these grades for what they are. You get 700 total yards of offense. Give it whatever grade you want to these guys. So, but it is. I mean, there's a calculation of math behind it. So it is a little bit surprising.
Matt Rhule's halftime speech would not be pleased with what you just said. All right, that's the offense. And I didn't know what the grades were for. I just found that article. I didn't know what the grades were, so I was literally reading them live. All right, Jake, what you got on the D? Then let's go to break.
Defensive side, I think it's kind of interesting, the snap count here. Defensive line, Williams with near 26 counts, 61.2 overall grade. Cade Petrock, 24, the second most snaps on the defensive line there, 62.8 overall grade. Elijah Judy, 20 snaps. Cam Lenhart, 19 snaps. Nothing really kind of stands out from anybody. I mean, Riley Van Poppel, 59.9, dipped into the 50s, off by 0.1. Gabe Moore got up to 72.1. I think that was close to the top of the team on his 13 snaps at the defensive line. Linebacker Dawson Merritt had 28 snaps. Javen Wright had 28 snaps, so that was among the most there.
That's a seventh-year guy with a true freshman, the same amount of snap counts, same amount of snaps.
66.6 overall for Dawson Merritt. Javen Wright leads the linebackers with a 75.8 grade. The only one that's kind of notably low is Jordan Ochoa, who played 8 snaps, limited snaps, but 35.3 overall grade.
All right, your final takeaway on the defensive grade, snap count, what you take away from all that. Does it mean anything? Does it mean a lot? And then we'll go to break.
It doesn't necessarily mean a lot, again, from a victory like that. It's kind of breaking through and trying to see exactly, who's doing what on every play. So, you appreciate it. I think these grades matter a little bit more again in close games or, against better competition. So we'll see. I mean, there's always something a little bit surprising or interesting within statistics out of any game. But again, you give it any grade you want to for a 68-0 victory. I'll just take the 68-0 victory.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
A business's phone is the lifeline to its customers and potential clients. That's why it's so important that you can take calls seamlessly from anywhere, whether you're on the road or in the office. Hamilton Business Technologies can help ensure your phone rings wherever you are. We can equip your headquarters and any of its locations with the right tools for smooth, professional call handling. As the official business IT partner of the Huskers, we know how to keep Nebraska businesses connected. Learn more at hamiltonisbusiness.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options. Options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Mo's Moving is now Mo's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your graze table today at GrazingGouda.com. Grazing Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
Big news, Nebraska. Love Omaha is now Love Nebraska. This is more than just a new name. It's a tribute to what Nebraska represents in the world of volleyball. It's still the same team with the same mission, led by players you know and love. Now backed by a new ownership group led by Jordan Larson. As Love Nebraska, they're entering an exciting new chapter, pushing for a championship title in 2026 and building new opportunities for the next generation of players across the state. They want you with them. Let's show the world how Nebraska plays volleyball. Join the movement at LOVBNEB.com and sign up to become a Love Nebraska Insider today.
This is the Adam Carriker Show.
Position right of the quarterback out of the shotgun, 1st and 20. Jailbreak screen in the air. It is tipped. It is intercepted by Carriker at the Missouri 21-yard line.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, 8-year NFL vet and All-American defensive lineman Adam Carriker.
Shotgun snap to Everett. He's got the left arm going, and now he's got a whole lot of Adam Carriker who rips him down inside the 25-yard line.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Here is your host, Adam Carriker.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Jake, I love you, but I'm incredibly disappointed in you, and you know why. But before we get into that, all right, it's the noon hour here on the Adam Carriker Show, and you know what that means. It's lunchtime, ladies and gentlemen. The lunch hour of the Adam Carriker Show on The Ticket is sponsored by our friends at Mulberry Barbecue, now with 2 Numero Dos locations at 11th and Cornhusker and 61st and Apples Way, right off of Highway 2 by Lowe's. Both locations are open Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 8 p.m. Try the burnt-end sandwich, a brisket burrito, barbecue nachos, a full slab of ribs, and half-smoked chicken, and much, much more, plus incredible sides. Get fueled for lunch today or make dinner plans at Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker and at 61st and Apples Way, just off of Highway 2. We just did an on-location show there last Friday. We will be doing another on-location show here in the next few weeks at Mulberry Barbecue South location. All right. See you fine folks there again. soon. All right, read the comment and then tell me your reaction to the comment, and then we can move on. Because Jake, oh man, what are we doing here? How do you not know what this meant, Jake?
So the comment was, hey, Adam and Jake, I want to thank you guys for the great show. TTRGBR. And I know what GBR stands for. I did not know what TTR stood for.
I thought you said TTB.
TTB, sorry. See, I don't know what it is.
We can get the right letter.
Well, I threw everybody off.
Throw the
TTB,
bones, man.
throw the
bones. Ah. All right. For the rest of today, when you text in, I just kindly ask that you put hashtag TTB at the end. And we will help our good friend and good buddy Jake to remember TTB. I'm surprised you couldn't just figure that out, man.
I was going to Google it. I don't think it was going to help if I Googled it.
I don't think that's going to come up in Google. We got to make it. Like The Rock turns SmackDown into a word that's in Webster's dictionary. We got to get TTB to be something that becomes a little bit more common. We got to start talking about it more, using it more, knowing what it means more. All right. We got a couple of clips here. Surprise me with whichever one you want to play first.
All right. Let's start with Matt Rhule here.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, it's a theme that we're talking about as a team this whole week. That's one of our themes. I had a chance to go to Bud's send-off. And, as I told our team, we hope that we have a great year. We hope that next year's a great year. We hope that when you look at our sidelines, all these Husker fans, but Bud's one of the OGs, right? He's one of the original ones, right? He came out there for Colorado for us last year, when we hadn't beaten Colorado. So I'm grateful him and who he is, and he's made it, yet he still continues to live in his community and pour into Omaha and pour into the kids in the community. So I think he's a role model for all of us who are blessed to give back. But what I love about Bud is, he's going to go out and fight Saturday night, and he's a first ballot pro boxing Hall of Famer, right? And he's certainly not just doing it for the money, right? And so he's risking his legacy because he wants to go out and he wants to be the first person to be 3 times unified champion. You know what I mean? No one's ever done it before. And so what I love about him is he could just sit back and be like, no, I'm not going to fight. No, I'm not going to fight Canelo. I'm the greatest ever was, but he's going to risk the chance when you step in the ring. Who knows what he's going to risk that because he's such a competitor that he can't stand the fact that he has a chance to do something that no one else has done. Because I believe 2 people have done 2 times unified or multiple, 2 different weight classes, I believe, but no one's done 3. So he has a chance to go. So he's going to go up in weight and challenge himself in weight and be the underdog for the first time ever. But he doesn't care about any of that because he doesn't care what other people say. He's a competitor. He's going to go out there and he expects to win. And so you think about a message for our guys, look, yeah. One thing I keep telling them is if the pressure, oh my gosh, the pressure to perform feels like too much right now. Just wait. The pressure doesn't go away. It doesn't go away. And it makes you either fight or flight. And some people would flee. And what I love about Bud Crawford is he just, no pun intended, he fights. He accepts the challenge. He moves forward. He puts his city, his state, his legacy on his back, and he goes out there and he risks it all in the ring because he's the ultimate competitor. And so that's the analogy for our team. For us on this, there was a blood moon last night, so I think that those are pretty cool things, kind of a red eclipse. And, when they say the history, you go back to Asia and, all across the world, and people saw the blood moons, the red moon, the orange moon, whether they thought the wolf was trying to eat the moon or, a dragon was trying to eat the moon, it usually means that there's a war coming. It usually means there's some period of war coming, and that's what I think Saturday night for Bud. So we're Team Bud Crawford, and you know what? Canelo's one of the greatest. We respect him, but we are Team Crawford around here. So, but I think it's just a great message for our team, right? Don't just sit there and hope that you get accolades. Risk it all. Risk it all to be great. Thanks, guys.
What do you think of that, Jake?
It's a great breakdown. It's been awesome to see Matt Rhule kind of be behind Bud Crawford. Of course, Crawford helped lead Nebraska out of the tunnel against Colorado, and I just love the connection that seemed to be laying there for a long time that never really kind of connected until recently with Bud Crawford supporting the Huskers. But specifically kind of going through that, it is a good message because Bud doesn't have to jump around all these weight classes. I mean, he could just kind of say, I'm the king of my weight class, but he's fighting upward and attempting to be and to prove more, like they're kind of saying. And again, especially kind of going into this weekend, where maybe the motivation might be a little bit less because you kind of feel like you're going to have the win in hand. That's a good message, I think.
Has anybody texted in with TTB?
Not yet.
Oh, just type in TTB, folks. Just make my day. Just make me happy. All right. So you look at this. Well, first of all, what Matt had to say, I loved it because it kind of goes back to his halftime speech. If you're a competitor, you're going to approach things a certain way. And it doesn't care what the surrounding things are, for lack of a better way to put it. A competitor is a competitor, 33-0. Then you go actually score 35 points in the second half. That's what a competitor does. Hopefully we do something similar. I'm not saying it's got to be 16-0 versus Bethune, or not Bethune-Cookman, but Houston Christian. Probably going to be a shorter game. We have the ball less, maybe not score as much. I would love a second shutout, but that's hard to do 2 games in a row. But you look at Bud Crawford. A competitor is going to be like, okay, I won this weight division. What's next? Let's go to that weight division. I won that one too? Okay, cool. Like a competitor doesn't just sit and hang out and chill on their laurels. Remember when Stone Cold Steve Austin said that to Dean Ambrose? I could think it was John Moxley, but on his podcast years ago. So for those who don't know, John Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose in WWE, was the world heavyweight champion. He went on Steve Austin's podcast. Frankly, it was one of the most horrifically horrible interviews I've ever seen. Austin got pissed at him, said he was resting on his laurels. In other words, you're being lazy because you're on top. Now, you can debate whether it was right, whether it was wrong, whether he was right, whether he was wrong, whether he should have or should have not done it. But the fact is, you can get to a point where you can be like, I'm good. And I'll feel like continuing to push. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say that's a bad thing, especially I don't know where you're at in life. I don't know what your goals are, what your age is, what you've done, what you want to do, what you don't want to do, what's going on. Okay. In Bud Crawford's case, in a true competitor's case, especially if you're young enough, you're like, what's next? And you don't worry about going out. What if I lose? Well, what if I lose? That hurts my legacy. No. A true competitor. First of all, if Bud loses, how does that hurt his legacy? I think it helps because he was willing to do this, which is an absurdly uncommon thing to do and takes a lot of guts. Am I crazy to say that I think it would help his legacy, even if he loses? Like if it's a great competitive match, if he's not going to get slaughtered. But if he did, that would obviously be something different. He's too good a fighter. He's either going to win, or if he loses, it's a close, great competitive match. I actually think it helps because it shows guts, a uniqueness, and something that's rare.
I think if you dive deep into it, I think it could be a good look. But I mean, it's what I held so dearly to college football over the years, and in boxing it's the same way. That zero, that undefeated mark that he has, that some boxers over time have. Same thing with college football teams. Tough to argue. And so, to be taken out of that class, that's what's always on the line for Bud Crawford. And that's why it is very respectful to keep moving up and trying to prove himself more when he's undefeated. And so to me, he does have kind of a lot to lose, because I think you lose a little bit of your aura if you lose even one. And that's kind of what's going on with Canelo. Canelo is one of the best of all time too, but he's dropped a few.
I remember that Pacquiao fight. What was that, 07? Why that pops into my head from 18 years ago is beyond me. Obviously, he's a great fighter. That was one night that didn't go his way. Man, I don't know. I compare it to, and Bud's has faced a lot of great fighters, but let's say you're the Big 12 champ in college football, to put it in college football terms. You're the Big 12 champ. You've beaten everybody. You played a good non-conference schedule, Power 4 teams, and you have a chance to go play the SEC champ, the NFL of the college football. Do you think it's better to go play and lose a close game? Obviously, if you win, you don't have to talk about that. Do you think it's better to just we're undefeated, we're going to rest on our laurels? Or do you think it's better to go play Alabama, Georgia? Maybe you lose by a point or a last-second field goal. Arizona State earned way more respect in that loss versus Texas than they did the entire season leading up to it, where they won a conference championship and dominated their opponent in the conference championship game. I kind of liken it to that. Now, personally, I'll be honest with you. To be clear, I don't want to mislead people. I'm taking Bud. I am. I think he's just a better fighter. It's the only thing that makes me nervous is the weight. Like, he is going up some weight here. That's the biggest challenge. If they were just always the same weight, it's two great fighters, I would take Bud. I think he's more skilled. I think he's better. That's just my humble opinion. I'm not a boxing expert. Does fighting a bunch when you're a kid growing up, does that count? Probably not.
Who'd you fight?
Dude, I shouldn't have opened that door. It It was too often, too many, and it was whatever was available was allowed. So it was definitely not in the middle of a boxing ring. I think that Big 12 championship team would actually earn more respect even if they lost to the SEC champ. In my opinion, like my favorite thing that Tom Osborne ever did, as crazy as this sounds, was go for two. That's just me. And maybe that's the competitor in me. I respect people who are willing to go for it all. And if it doesn't go your way, I respect that more than never trying to begin with. That's just me. I've never had a fear of failure. I'm terrified of not trying. That's what scares me, because the regret later on in life is what would bother me. I never tried. Well, I tried and I lost. I can live with that. All right, fine. I failed to get back in the NFL. For 2 years, day and night, I tried. I had the number to almost every GM in the NFL, almost every head coach. I have interacted with Ozzie Newsome, Bill O'Brien when he was the head coach of the Texans, up till 2 a.m, doing everything I could, and I failed. And as much as that sucks, you know what would have bothered me more had I not tried? I can look back and be like, dang, I did everything I could. I had 6 major knee surgeries, 10 total surgeries, and I was not the same player. I genuinely think I could have made a team. Nobody agreed with me, and that's okay, and I failed. I look back with zero regret because I couldn't have done it anymore. Had I said, I just don't think I can do it, I'm done, that would have haunted me to the day I die. That's just how I operate. I don't know. What do you think about all this, Jake?
No, I mean, I agree with you. I like how they, I like going for it, right? And I think that's what makes this fight particularly interesting, too. I just still think, there's just something you can't take away from an undefeated team. And to that, that 83 Nebraska team, that could be, people would argue, maybe one of the best teams to never win a championship. But then you're in that category, right? And it's a good category, obviously, when you look at the scope of things of where teams could be. But again, when you can just compare that to, if he wins here, I think you're starting to talk about comparing him to Mayweather, who was undefeated all time, and that sort of stuff. If he loses, I think you probably you drop a few, few spots in the all-time boxer list. I just think that, it's tough to argue at that top.
Is Mayweather undefeated, 50-plus wins? Now, his last couple of fights, it was Logan Paul. Who did he fight after that? Because it was kind of like non-regular pro boxers. Now Mayweather, he has flat out said, I can solve any Da Vinci Code once I get in that ring. And he really could. Undefeated, great career. Not taking anything away from that. But I think one of the things that people, if they want to use against him, was he didn't have the same level of competition. Like Ali had multiple losses. Mike Tyson had multiple losses. He tried to bite a man's ear off. And I think some people would put Mayweather below all the guys I just mentioned, despite the losses, because of the level of competition they faced. Not a big. Is there anything off the text line? Has anybody said TTB? Just make me happy.
There's
Jake.
several folks.
Thank you.
Yes,
throw the bone. Throw the bones. Now you know what it means, Jake. Now I'm happy. My day has been made. Is there anything off the old? I never thought we'd dive this much into boxing. We haven't gotten in to Dylan Raiola and what he expects from the team and the projected bowls. You never know where this show's going to go. But is there any thoughts on the boxing here?
Doesn't look like it necessarily. It looks. Somebody says, whoa, Mayweather does not hold a candle to Bud. The only people he has ever. Oh no, I can't read that. So okay.
So the level of competition is held against him
to a degree. But remember, so it was him, not Pacquiao, that beat Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah, it was Pacquiao. That's my point.
That's what I'm saying. So Mayweather,
it's held against Mayweather.
Mayweather beat Canelo Alvarez.
Are you that team that would have won the Big East championship in football and then would have boycotted the bowl game so you could stay undefeated? Would you have done that, Jake? Would that have been you?
No, I don't think so. He beat Pacquiao and Alvarez. So he's had some good Shane Mosley. He had some good Oscar De La Hoya. He had some good names underneath him.
I'm not questioning Floyd Mayweather. What I've heard, and I'm not a boxing expert, what I've heard people say is where exactly that text was going, and then you stopped reading it.
Right, yeah.
He has not had the level of competition as some of the other guys that I mentioned. Now, that's drastically different weight classes. The guys I mentioned were the heavyweights, Yeah. These guys are not quite that weight. But just real quick, and then we will get into Dylan Raiola, projected bowl games at this early point in the season after 2 whole games for Nebraska. All right, Terrence Crawford is moving up 2 divisions Saturday to face Canelo Alvarez for his undisputed super middleweight championship. 9 p.m. Eastern time on Netflix is when it will start. Crawford, 41-0. 31 knockouts, has won titles in 4 weight classes, and has been undisputed champion at junior welterweight and welterweight. If he beats Canelo, he will become the first fighter in men's boxing to unify all 4 major belts in 3 divisions. All right, Canelo, 63-2-2 is his career record. 39 knockouts, defeated Caleb Plant by 11th round TKO in November of 2021 to become undisputed champion at 168 pounds. He made 4 successful defenses before the IBF stripped him for not fighting mandatory challenger William Skull and instead facing Edgar Berlanga. So he apparently, I don't know why he didn't fight him, but he didn't fight someone he was supposed to, so he was stripped of a belt. All right, Canelo eventually fought Skull, there you go, in May to regain the championship. All Canelo victories since stopping Plant have been by decision. Can Crawford be successful in a higher division is the question. Now, what's interesting is Canelo is the favorite. You go through the ESPN pickers, though. Okay, even Mike Tyson picked Crawford. Amir Khan, Crawford. Mike Tyson, Crawford. Timothy Bradley Jr., Crawford. Christy Martin, Crawford. John Leguizamo, I hope I said that right. He's an actor, it says. All right, pick Canelo. Anthony Ramos, actor, Canelo. Then you got Crawford, Canelo. I mean, it's like, I would say 80% of those folks, despite the odds, are picking Crawford. All right, who are you officially taking in this? I'm taking Crawford. The only thing that makes me nervous is weight can be tricky sometimes. This isn't one class. It's a couple of weight classes. I think just as far as being a pure fighter, I think Crawford's better, and I'm going to go with Crawford.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Obviously, having Anthony Lionheart Smith was in the other day, and he knows a lot more about it than I do. So, I mean, he's on Team Bud Crawford. He says Canelo's just, I mean, he's so good defensively and so good offensively that if he gets some strikes in there, obviously to look out for that. But I'll go with Crawford. I'm again not a boxing expert, mostly because I'm a Husker fan, and obviously he's tied to the Huskers. But also, again, the undefeated deal does kind of ring to me is that if you show that you haven't shown that you can be beat, I'm going to wait till somebody proves it to me to bet against you.
All right, anything off the text line before we go to break, and then we will move on to Dylan Raiola expecting no excuses for high level of play from Nebraska, and also who Nebraska might face in a potential bowl game.
Just a lot of support for Bud, and again, a lot of hashtag TTB.
Love it, TTB. All right, ladies and gentlemen, throw the bones.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
This is former Husker and NFL linebacker Jay Foreman. For years, I've suffered from degenerative problems in both of my ankles, but thanks to a thorough and thought-out plan provided by Advanced Medical Imaging, I was able to get my life back with the least amount of pain as possible. While working through multiple options, the team of physicians at Advanced Medical Imaging were there to answer any questions I had. If you're experiencing any pain at all and want to get your life back, go to amimaging.com or give them a call at 402-484-6677. Advanced Medical Imaging, located at 7601 Pioneers Boulevard.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
Make your next event unforgettable with Grazing Gouda, your local artists and experts in charcuterie and grazed tables. From boardrooms to ballrooms, they turn gatherings into experiences with stunning spreads of artesian cheeses, cured meats, fresh fruits, and gourmet bites. Perfect for corporate luncheons, weddings, parties, or any celebration that deserves a wow moment. They handle the details. You take the compliments. Book your Graze table today at grazandgouda.com. Graze and Gouda, because every event deserves to be savored.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Every home is different. Every family is different. So when it's time for a new heating and cooling system, why not get what fits you best? Get the perfect fit with Bryant. Maybe you need higher efficiency, better humidity control, increased warranty, or all the bells and whistles. Bryant provides options in warranty, features, comfort, and efficiency while maximizing savings. Call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing, 467-1111, or visit BryantLincoln.com. Bryant, whatever it takes.
The party is back on in Lincoln this fall, and there's no party like the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show. Join the whole ticket crew for 2.5 hours of pregame coverage before every home and away game this football season as they get you ready for the game. It's the A1 Automotive Ticket Tailgate pregame show at our downtown studio at 11th and O. Sponsored by Select Plumbing, Raising Cane's, Wall to Wall Wine and Spirits, Elway Power Sports of Lincoln, Currency, and the Kindler Hotel.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
When the clock strikes 0 after every Nebraska football game, there's only one place to go for instant coverage. Tune in for the Husker After Party Postgame Show on 93.7 The Ticket for each game, win or lose. Call in with all your takes or text the show at 464-5685 and hear quotes from the players and coaches, too. It's the Husker After Party Postgame Show, sponsored by Anderson Ford and Vinny Kreekak of State Farm Insurance.
For remote starters, audio upgrades, and more, there's only one place to go. Auto Sounds of Lincoln at 48th and O.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Hi, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Adam Carriker Show here on 93.7 The Ticket. Okay, a couple of notes from Rhule's press conference. Really quick, that just happened or just wrapped up a little bit ago. All right. So, Rhule did say after the tragic events of yesterday and today being 9/11 that he wants guys to call the people they love. And I will admit, in general, it made me think about the people that I love more as well, including today being 9/11 plus the tragic events of yesterday. Now, he said the team responded well to what he said last week, and he believes that we are building a killer instinct. Now, on having one portal window, now, he said, and I quote, "Thank goodness," end quote. Can you imagine how much easier his life just got? Like, I'm excited because we're going to get spring games again. And I do believe we're going to get, like, inter-squad practices, and that's going to be awesome. I don't know if it'll be this spring, maybe. But like maybe 2 springs from now. I'm just happy to have a spring game again this year. Just don't make a 2-hand touch, please. All right. And so he said, thank goodness on one portal window. There's some sanity potentially coming back to college football. I've said the light at the end of the tunnel is there. I just don't know how long that tunnel is before we get to the light, but it is coming, ladies and gentlemen. And it appears we have a chance of it coming sooner, potentially, rather than later. I have to do a better job at getting to the quarterback on defense. Like in his halftime speech, he brought up, if we have a group that doesn't hit the quarterback, get me a new group out there. This is clearly at the top of his radar list right now. All right. Says their recovery staff is so good that players who transferred have called and asked for advice. I'm sorry. And I'm sure they're helping him out. I'm sorry. But if I transfer away, I'm not calling back and asking for advice. Maybe that's just the arrogant jerk in me and the pride bubbling up, but I ain't doing that. I'm going to sit there with bruises and I'm going to be sore with half-torn muscles before I call the people I left and ask for advice. Would you do that, Jake?
I guess if
do
you're
you think
desperate
James Williams
enough.
called? James Williams called him up?
It could be.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I get it from your side, like you're saying, and you might have to be pretty desperate to try to get that. But I mean, that does speak to a high volume. Like you said, it's like a personal. You kind of have to let your pride down a little bit to make that call. But again, that tells you what good an impression they're leaving on folks. And remember, people transfer for different reasons. It's not always bad blood in between anybody or anything.
I actually think as far as people transferring, Rhule does as well as anybody is maintaining a good relationship, in all honesty. I'm curious. Was James Williams one of them? I'd like to know. I'm just saying. All right. And then he said Malcolm Hartzog is questionable for the game this weekend. Okay. Any takeaways from your end on the brief press conference he had today?
Not necessarily. Yeah, it was pretty brief, and usually sometimes on Thursdays they are. So I don't think anything riveting. It is interesting with Hartzog. Obviously not a big game, but one of our heroes from early on in the season, to kind of see who would plug in and be in that spot.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. Let's just get right. Let's get healthy. Let's get ready for Michigan. Some other guys. I mean, Hartzog has played like 1 million snaps. I mean, he started all the way back halfway through his freshman season. So this is a guy with plenty of experience. Let's get him healthy. And let's get some other guys some experience, build a little bit of depth there. Hopefully he's back for the Michigan game too. So
and Jameer Khan's listed as the backup for him, but obviously, Donnie Marshall got a black shirt. I'm just interested in who they'll run out there.
That is interesting. We'll keep an eye on that. Jameer Khan was the highest graded DB, by the way, in last weekend's game. I don't know if you mentioned that or not. But.
I don't think so.
All right, let's get into, and I quote, "There's really no excuse for us not playing at a high level," end quote, Dylan Raiola. When you hear that, do you think, well, he's saying what he's supposed to say? Do you get excited? Do you not care? How much stock do you put into that? Because if you watch the actual clip, it wasn't a passing comment. Like sometimes a passing comment, you take that part out, you use that quote, and by itself, it comes across a whole lot different than if you watch the clip where it's a passing comment. No, like he spent there was actually a little bit of stuttering, not like stutter, but just like this was something he thought about at least for a second or two before he said it. Like this stood out to me a little bit, not just the words, but how he actually said it. What's your reaction to this? What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I love it because it continues to kind of show the kind of player-led movement that Matt Rhule wants in year 3, right? To hold each other to a high accountability, because there are, some reasons if you're a competitor, it is what it is. There's 11 guys out there. There's probably a few guys that are ahead of where other guys are, right? So, I mean, you could, if you really wanted to, you could find some reasons why it might not always live, played up to the highest level that they did, like against Akron. But again, it's just kind of, to me, that's the captain of the team, the quarterback of the team, holding the accountability of the team high. And they've talked about that all offseason. So far, I think we've seen it.
Honestly, I agree with you. I don't have a whole lot to add. I just really liked it because I truly, like, me. If I hear something and I'm like, I'll say it. And I'm not always right, but I've been in 1 million meeting rooms, team meetings, coaches meetings with players. And sometimes things strike me a little bit differently. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. And if I'm like, I don't know about that, I'll say it. And if something hits me, like, that's real. Rhule's halftime speech, I loved it. It felt real authentic. And in the moment, he was legit pissed. Like, we're not playing good enough. That's how you avoid the lull, by the way, that happened versus Northern Iowa going into Illinois last year. Remember that Northern Iowa game? We didn't play that great. It was not like it was like 34-3, but it was not a curb stomping like it should have been, with all due respect to Northern Iowa. And that was the point the Rhule was making. And I think it's truly taking hold with the players. It's not about the scoreboard. It's about what the tape says. Because that's what Rhule said in his halftime speech. I don't care about the scoreboard. I care what the tape says. Well, if you have great tape, that scoreboard is going to follow. And it shows me like this felt like an authentic moment, a real moment of a culture shift. And people are scared to talk about culture now because it didn't work under Frost. Okay. But a true culture shift starting with the quarterback. So I genuinely like that. Any thoughts off the text line on any of this?
Not as of yet.
All right. Hour 2 of the Adam Carriker Show is sponsored by Suizo Construction, where safety is not just a policy, it is a promise. Suizo is hiring skilled craftsmen, laborers, concrete workers, and steel erectors who value quality work and a team that has your back on and off the job site. Apply today at Suizo.com. 40 years strong in business. Suizo Construction. Again, that's SCHWISOW Construction. Okay. Big Ten bowl game projections. Guaranteed rate bowl. Wisconsin, Baylor. I have my doubts about Wisconsin being bowl eligible.
Yeah, we'll see. They got a tough one against Alabama this week, and they're not going to have their quarterback likely.
The game last year got ugly too, and their quarterback got knocked out. Thoughts and prayers to Wisconsin fans. All right, this next one I had to take a double look at because I'm still getting used to SMU being considered one of the big boys. And I'm like, wait, Washington? Oh, yeah, they're a Big Ten team. So this whole next one just caught me off guard. SMU versus Washington. In the Tony the Tiger Bowl, they're going to have cereal at halftime. All right. I guess SMU's not making the playoff because Florida State, Miami, and Clemson are, I guess, out of the ACC. Just reminded they're in the ACC.
SMU did lose to Baylor.
What's up?
SMU did lose to Baylor recently.
No, SMU won. Did they lose?
They lost.
They were ahead by 2 touchdowns when I quit watching.
It was like double overtime.
Oh, I just quit watching. I lost interest. I'm not that interested in Texas football. Oh, well, let me know. Okay. USC versus Iowa State in the Alamo Bowl. Washington State versus Iowa in the LA Bowl. Indiana and Alabama in a game I don't want to see. In the Music City Bowl. NC State versus Minnesota. Toledo versus Michigan State. Another game I'm not that interested. Ole Miss, Michigan. That could be interesting. All right. There's only one team I haven't talked about outside of the teams they have projected to be in the playoff, which is like Oregon, Ohio State, Penn State. Nebraska. Who won that game, by the way?
SMU did.
Sounds right. I didn't
No. Baylor did. Sorry. Yeah. Baylor won in overtime on the CW network.
Why do they have games on the CW network?
They got a big one this week, South Florida and Miami.
That is a big one. I will be watching the CW network this weekend. What time is that game?
I'll have to look that up. But yeah, it was 48-45 in double overtime for Baylor.
They were up by 2 touchdowns in the second half. SMU was. I'm like, okay, I'm not that interested. They're going to win. I checked out. Good grief. All right, Nebraska is projected to go to the ReliaQuest Bowl, which is the Outback, formerly known as the Outback Bowl, from 1996 to 2023, almost 30 years. We looked this up at the break. Well, you did. You told me, and I just told the people. I just tried to take credit for your work. Sorry, Jake.
That's all right.
Who do you think we're playing? I already told you.
You did tell me, yeah.
Who would you have guessed had I not told you? Who was in your radar when I first brought this up to you at the start of the show? Who's on your radar?
Well, because you were excited for it. That's why I said Texas A&M, UCF, maybe a former, big
dude. That would have been
12,
great.
Big 8 team.
That would have been cinema, but no.
Yeah.
Who else would have popped into your head? Act like you don't know the answer.
Texas would have been excited, like a Missouri.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma's exciting.
Nebraska versus Oklahoma in the ReliaQuest Bowl, formerly known as the Outback Bowl, which is one of the major bowl games, if you still consider bowl games to be major. I get excited about that. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I mean, absolutely. It's a forgotten about rivalry, unfortunately, because they haven't been able to play as much. But when they have gotten back on the field, it's been fun. I would love it. I mean, Oklahoma, it remains to be kind of seen. Brent Venables kind of on the hot seat coming in, but they got that victory over Michigan. So at this point, like, obviously, we're all getting excited for the Michigan game, right? Here in a couple weeks, and Oklahoma just beat them. It would be it'd be competitive. I think Oklahoma might be favored at this point, but I'd be interested to see where it would be at that point in time. I'd love to play Oklahoma every year. I think that would be fantastic.
So that's kind of where I wanted to go with this. Like, I wish, because there's so many rivalries that have gone by the wayside. You think we went for over a decade, whether you like A&M or Texas or not, we don't. But whether you do or not, that was a great rivalry. It was gone for over a decade. The fact that it's back is something that's great. The fact that Nebraska and Oklahoma don't play every year and haven't since 1996 is not ass of 7 or 8. It is ass of 9. We talked about this in the offseason. I talked about the top 10 as the list that was presented to me. Greatest college football rivalries. Number 1 is Miami, Ohio State. Not Miami, Ohio State, Michigan, Ohio State. At number 5, even though we have not played on a year in and year out basis in almost 30 years, was Oklahoma, Nebraska. We should be playing, and if I'm Oklahoma, I'm like, well, I got Texas. They got rid of Bedlam last year. Why do I want another difficult rivalry game? And they were the ones that chose to not play us when we wanted to play them every year in the Big 12. I kind of get why, even though I hate it. I hate why. Doesn't mean I don't get it. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I've always thought college football should have a rivalry week, which I know is like the last weekend of the year, but like a rivalry weekend for any of those non-conference rivals that don't play anymore. Miami and Florida, I don't know if Florida would like this, but they should play every year. To me, I like Notre Dame, USC is going to go away. Probably. New USC doesn't need it. Notre Dame needs those games. USC is like, we're in the Big Ten. We don't need you. We don't. Of course, now we're going to play one Power 4 non-conference team every year. So now there's a better chance. Well, SEC is, I expect us to match them after we called them out for years for playing 8 conference games and scheduling that extra cupcake third bye week right before the rivalry games. I expect us to match that. Keep 9 conference games and add a Power 4 conference opponent. So USC may keep Notre Dame at this point. But I've always thought there should be like week 7, week 8 of the season. Let's just have a designated rivalry weekend for all the rivalries that used to be. And I think that would be awesome. Like, I know folks don't get too excited about Kansas versus Missouri, but that game hadn't happened in over 10 years. And I was talking to a Kansas person the other day because Kansas, Missouri just played this past weekend. Great game. Came down to the final minutes. This Kansas individual whose daughters both run on the cross-country team there at Kansas. I knew him when they were in high school. He goes, Kansas State's our rival. Missouri's our enemy. And I was like, ooh, I like that. College football needs more of that. What do you think of a rivalry weekend designated for those teams that don't play some of their rivals anymore?
Oh, I'm all about it. I mean, there's the backyard brawl, all these matchups that kind of get lost in these, conference realignment. And unfortunately, there's just so many of them that within Nebraska that you'd want to see. I always find it fascinating that Nebraska has kind of been torn apart by conference realignment a little bit from the fabric of older historic rivals. And eventually, originally that was Oklahoma not being a year in and year out thing. Let's put Colorado in there. Obviously now Colorado not part of that. Iowa's now in there in the Big Ten, but it's so there would be a few games that I'd like to see Nebraska play on that weekend. But that would certainly be it would be awesome. And you wonder too, just the future of scheduling. I know they want to keep the FCS schools. They really rely on these type of games. The smaller schools to get paid to come up and take a beating from the bigger schools more often than not. But it's just going to be interesting to see where college football goes in that direction, because I also think with these giant conferences, I love the old rivalries and all that, but I don't see any reason not to just play all conference schedules. You'd play more teams than, you'd get a better indication of what the conference records were.
I think you would, or just, divide them into 2 equal divisions, disregard geography and play divisions. I feel like I'm the only person on planet Earth who still thinks divisions are a good idea and never thought they were a bad idea. But you just got to make sure you divide them up evenly. Don't just go by geography, or you get, the Big Ten East winning 84 Big Ten championship games in a row, and the West just getting mollywopped every year. But geography doesn't matter. Like, I always remember initially, Leaders Legends, we were going to play Penn State every year as our designated crossover rival. Yeah. Just put Penn State in our division. Like, just, you're going to put Michigan, Ohio State, Michigan State in the same division. Just do that thing. Get Penn State over here, and let's do that thing. You make a great point, though. Conference realignment has affected Nebraska's rivals probably as much or more than any other school in the country. We went from Oklahoma. Oklahoma don't want to play us every year anymore in the Big 12. We had the North, the South. So then it became Colorado. Then we tolerate their butts for years. Then we go to the Big 10. Now it's Iowa, which was manufactured at first. Although there was a lot of natural rivalry tendencies just sitting there, just never been explored. Here we are, 15 years later? I do feel like it's become a little bit of a rivalry. If we want it to be a real rivalry, what really needs to happen is we need to win more often. Balance it out a little bit if we're being honest with you. Somebody's like, oh, you're 2-6 versus Iowa the last 8 years. Oh, have a great day. Great chatting with you, my friend. And you make some great points. The backyard brawl, Pittsburgh versus West Virginia, no more. I know Oregon has kind of kept up the Civil War with Oregon State. That's eventually going to go away. Same with the Apple Cup, Washington State. That's eventually going to go away. So things like that, man. Pittsburgh, Penn State, that's an in-state rivalry just sitting there. If you just start playing that every year, it's just sitting there. All right. I'm looking at Oklahoma's schedule. Dude, it is brutal. 9 ranked teams. 9.
Remaining?
Total.
Okay.
8 remaining.
Yeah.
Only 8.
Yeah.
Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU. And of the 8 remaining, of the 9 total, oh my gosh, 6 of them are top 15. Of the 8 remaining, 5 of them are top 15. And then you got LSU at 3, you got Texas at 7. I mean, obviously, Tennessee looks like they're rolling at 15. Alabama's still Alabama. You never know what to make of them. I don't know. It could be a reality, man. We could end up playing Oklahoma. I'd be pretty juiced. They'd be beat up. We have the easiest schedule in the Big Ten. We'd be fresh. Just the rivalry. I think it'd be fun. All right, anything off the text line before we go to break?
Yeah. Chase B says Oklahoma or Colorado would sell a lot of tickets. Cubsker says call it enemy weekend, and I'm sold. It also bears noting with the SEC, I think there's 11 out of the 16 teams that are ranked right now, so a lot of those schedules are going to be, a lot loaded up there. We'll see by season's end how many of those 11 ranked SEC teams are top 25.
Yeah, no bias in there at all. All right. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. I like enemy weekend, by the way. We should trademark that. Hashtag enemy weekend, hashtag TTB. All right, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.
An overdose can happen in front of you and you might not realize it. Blue lips, slowed breathing, pinpoint pupils, choking sounds, unresponsive to touch or sounds. These signs aren't always obvious, but they can be deadly. Knowing what to do could save your friend, your neighbor, your child. Learn more by visiting myhealthymind.crediblemmind.com so you can be ready before it happens. This message is funded in part by the CDC OD2A grant.
This just in, hot off the bench press. Planet Fitness has expanded strength equipment. Save $28 or more when you join today. We're raising the bar with these benches, and our hack squat will have you actually looking forward to leg day. Plus, we're still repping all the best-in-class equipment we've always had. There's no better time to get stronger. So join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month.
Find your nearest club and join today. Deal ends September 12th.
See Home Club for details.
This is your year, where your team takes it all the way. Win way more than bragging rights at Warhorse Casino, where your love of the game could put $1 million in your pocket. The Pro Football Frenzy is free to play with prizes all season long. Weekly cash prizes up to $1,000 cash, season-long leaderboards, and a chance to win $1 million. Only at Warhorse Casino. Wagers may only be placed on Nebraska-based teams when played outside the state of Nebraska. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Gambling problem? Call 1-833-BET-OVER.
Did you know that deer collisions are covered under the comprehensive portion of your car insurance? That means, like with hail damage or vandalism, since they are out of your control, they don't usually raise your insurance rates. And that's a good thing, since most deer don't carry liability insurance. At Eustace Body Shop, we fixed all kinds of animal collision damage, from cows to raccoons, bobcats, and even turkeys. We can't do much for the animal, but we can get your car back on all fours and looking like new again.
The most recommended Eustace Body Shop. That's who we are.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just their professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at PAHLincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, Your pet, their passion for happier, healthier, furry friends.
No cravings, no hunger pains, no struggle. Thanks to GLP-1s from Limitless Mail, weight loss is possible. Picture this. Your clothes fit better, your energy's up, your doctor's impressed, and your friends start noticing. Limitless Mail's GLP-1 program is medically monitored and changing men's lives. There's no better time than now to get on board. Lose the weight, better your health, gain your confidence without being hungry. Free consult at limitlessmail.com.
John Henry's has a brand new membership club to protect your entire home in one program. With a VIP and a deluxe option, we will help you find the plan that best fits your needs. Receive discounts on services and equipment, priority service, complimentary inspections, and so much more. Protect your home's plumbing, heating, cooling, and electrical systems all in one membership. Call John Henry's to learn more.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
And electrical.
Load up on meat and more this fall at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's specials through September 16th are $1 off ready-to-eat meals, 20% off all pasta, and 8-ounce grass-fed, grass-finished sirloins for $9 each. Plus, stop by for lunch on Fired Up Thursday at the Mercado East or Fired Up Friday at the Mercado North. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney and Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. Salt Mine City is your go-to spot in the Haymarket for craft beer and great food on Saturday game days. Kickoff this week is at 11 a.m., so doors open at 9 a.m. with $10 breakfast bowls and breakfast burritos available until the game starts, plus $6 Bloody Marys all day. If Bloody Marys aren't for you, try one of their 12 beers on tap, including the popular Single Axle Light American Lager. Salt Mine City, your Haymarket game day go-to at 8th and R.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill, open for lunch and dinner at 1501 Center Park Road, just south of 14th and Highway 2.
This is the Adam Carriker Show on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Boom! Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the final segment here of the Adam Carriker Show. We better move quickly. I came across this random stat literally just now, and then we got a clip to play, volleyball clip. The top 10 pro football focused grades as far as running backs in the Big Ten. I'm a little surprised to not see Emmett Johnson in here. 2 Oregon running backs are in, actually 3 Oregon running backs are in here. 2 Washington running backs. Antoine Raymond of Rutgers is number 1, 90.1 overall grade. Other than Rutgers, man, a lot of West Coast bias in this. I don't know. I don't really care yet. Let's learn more. Let's talk more after we play and beat Michigan. We got a volleyball clip. Go ahead and roll it there, Jake.
Yeah, this is Bergen Riley the other day.
We always are going to have a target on our back, being Nebraska in general, but especially right now, we're number 1. And Danny just really makes an emphasis of take it all in, smell the roses, like enjoy what we're doing and enjoy that you're even in this position. So after the Kentucky game, she asked us, she said, like, was that a relief that you guys won or were we excited that we won? And she's like, I don't want it to be a relief that we win. It should be super exciting that we just had a huge win, a reverse sweep against a really great team. So yeah, it's little things here and there that she, whether it's pregame or in the between the second and third set talk, like she's always just like, take it all in. Like, this is a cool atmosphere. We have a really great crowd in front of us and we also have a really great team, and just getting to enjoy all those little moments that we might forget about in the heat of a game.
What stood out to me, we got about 2 minutes here. Danny Busboom Kelly understands the player mindset. Obviously, having played, won a national title, played for another national title, co-libero of the year in the Big 12. She took Louisville to multiple Final Fours, 2 national championship matches, a program that was under 500 when she got there. That screamed to me, I've been in your shoes. I know what that's like, but what are you feeling right now? Because I get it. I want this to be fun, not stress. I want you to enjoy the moment and appreciate what you're doing. Don't take anything for granted, because I don't want it just to be a relief. Embrace and enjoy what is going on right now. And there's going to be ups, there's going to be downs. Not everything's going to be perfect. You're not going to sweep everybody. You're not going to probably beat every single team, because the Big Ten is the best volleyball conference in America. Although they look pretty darn good, Jake. And I'm just like, man, that is a coach who has been in their shoes, knows exactly how they're feeling, and couldn't have said it any better, I don't think. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, it's like you said, it's just it can be a burden. It can be kind of start to kind of weigh it on you, the expectations game after game. I guess especially when they had the reverse sweep the other day, when you fall down 2-0, you're kind of, oh, we're supposed to be number one. What's kind of going on? I mean, you might start to have those kind of doubts creep in. So they need to kind of keep it light and as much as they can. They know they're going to be a competitive team, whether they're number 1, 2, 3. I mean, and it's hard to imagine drop them out of the top 10 by season's end. So they're going to be right there. And so a little bit of it too is, I mean, it's just not, you don't get too many of these. So enjoy the ride as much as you can while keep keeping that competitive streak in you.
They're going to get everybody's best shot. It's not like a video game where if you're rated an 84 as a player, you're going to play as an 84 every single game. Human beings, sometimes you might be an 84 in a video game, but you might play as a 79. Or all of a sudden you might play as a 90. And you're much more likely to play as a 90 being a human being versus Nebraska than just about anybody else. I'll never forget, I've heard multiple, and I'm not hoping Nebraska obviously loses at all in volleyball or otherwise, but I've heard college football coaches say sometimes it's better to lose and just get that pressure off you, and then you become better for it afterwards. The pressure's gone, and it's a reminder, hey, we still got to get better too, but the pressure's gone sometimes. Again, I'm not rooting for them to lose at any point in time, but if they do, God dang, they might even be better for it. How crazy is that to think, Jake?
Not too crazy. I understand the thought behind it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a glorious Thursday. I'll see you fine folks tomorrow. Go Big Red, TTB. And always remember to throw the bones.
No cravings, no hunger pains, no struggle. Thanks to GLP-1s from Limitless Mail, weight loss is possible. Picture this. Your clothes fit better, your energy's up, your doctor's impressed, and your friends start noticing. Limitless Mail's GLP-1 program is medically monitored and changing men's lives. There's no better time than now to get on board. Lose the weight, better your health, gain your confidence without being hungry. Free consult at limitlessmail.com.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.